Hello and welcome to English Matters. Today I want to think about the dramatic conventions that are employed in Romeo and Juliet. Now obviously this is a play many of you will be studying for AQA and possibly edXL. So some of those dramatic conventions that this play uses, first of all, is the aside. Aside is basically when an actor speaks to the audience either directly or as a voiced thought, and the other sort of characters around him on the stage cannot hear him. This obviously creates a sense of dramatic irony and distancing between the characters, where the audience is privy to more information than those on the stage. For example, Romeo's "Shall I hear more or shall I speak at this?" His thoughts while listening to Juliet's soliloquy out of sight from under her balcony. He debates with himself whether or not he should reveal his presence. Obviously the audience hears that, but Juliet doesn't. Dramatic irony is very important, of course. Dramatic irony is when the audience tends to grasp something that the characters on the stage do not, or the audience is aware of something that the characters on the stage are not. For example, in Hamlet, when Polonius is hiding behind the curtain, the audience know this, but Hamlet does not. So dramatic irony, when of course the audience grasps the truth of a situation before the character does. The audience knows, for example, Juliet is not really dead, yet Romeo does not. "Death that hath sucked the honey of thy breath has had no power yet upon thy beauty." It's a kind of, must be a difficult point in the play for the audience to sort of grasp that, I think. The next one is the foil. The foil, it tends to be when two characters have many things in common, but at least one major difference. For example, peace-loving Benvolio serves as a foil to Tybalt, who loves to fight. The cold and elegant Lady Capulet serves as a foil to the nurse, who dearly loves Juliet and constantly makes a fool of herself. Foreshadowing is important. It's used frequently in this play, especially it establishes the importance of the prologue. So a foreshadowing, of course, is an indication or hint of something that is going to happen. For example, before going into Capulet's party, Romeo feels that an event will occur that will ultimately lead to his death. "My mind misgives, some consequence yet hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's revels and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death." This is obviously a sense of foreshadowing, because ultimately, and we know from the prologue as well, that these star-crossed lovers are sort of destined to die. Of course, the prologue is also a dramatic convention employed by Romeo and Juliet. The prologue, of course, is important here, because we learn that the story tends to be about a love affair. We learn all about the star-crossed lovers, but we know that this love affair is doomed. This is important. This is established from the beginning, so it creates a sense of tension and dramatic irony from the get-go, really. The audience is just waiting for this tragedy to unfold. The prologue is also important because it establishes the setting that the lovers are from feuding families, and this feud will ultimately end with their deaths. Also, the prologue is important because it establishes the theme of fate, which is very important and runs throughout this play. Of course, another dramatic convention used in Romeo and Juliet, and I believe all Shakespeare's plays, of course, is the soliloquy. Now, a soliloquy, of course, is a long speech in which a character reveals his thoughts to the audience, but again, not to other characters. It's an aside. It tends to be a short remark or short line. A soliloquy is much longer and much more considered. You could argue it's a lengthy type of aside in many respects. For example, Juliet's "O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?" speech is delivered from her balcony. Even though Romeo can actually hear her, she doesn't know this. This is her soliloquy. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, click, share this video, but more importantly, please do keep studying.